Welcome to the channel, everyone. Coming up next, a trade setup that works. Hi, I'm Don Singletary, and welcome to the channel that's probably one of a kind. It's the only channel, to my knowledge, that exclusively has one mission to teach home investors how to day trade the new Micro E-mini futures for the purpose of making daily, weekly, and monthly income. Now, usually when futures are taught, they're taught by bombarding a student with all the world of futures, all the many hundreds of products traded around the world in billions of dollars every day. But on this channel, we only teach one thing. We're very focused on teaching home investors how to make extra income day trading the Micro E-minis. And today, we'll talk about the setup that works. So let's get started. After today's video, if you're an absolute beginner, be sure and check out the two playlists below, Beginners and MACD Winners, and you can catch up fast. Now take a look. I'm trading on our standard setup chart. This is the setup you have to learn, and the only one. I'm trading the NASDAQ 100 Micro E-mini. It's $2 a point. And in the top screen, we have the candlestick charting method with 5-minute increments in the channel sticks. In the bottom half of the pane, we're using a standard MACD indicator. That's moving average convergence divergence indicator. It helps us measure the moves, the amplitude, and the momentum of the underlying, which is the futures contract, the NASDAQ 100 Micro E-mini. The numbers you see are the amount of dollar amount, that's varying every 5 minutes. Each of the candlesticks is 5 minutes wide. I'm going to zoom in on this screen and run a loop that you can see those dollar fluctuations while I speak to you about what a trading system is. The title of the video is A Trading System That Works. Well, it does work, but like any trading system, there's no such thing as a perfect trading system that works in all situations, all times, for all people. And I've told you in other videos, if you've seen them on the channel, I repeat it many times, most of trading happens between your ears. And unlike what most beginners think, it's not just find a buy point or a sell point, but it's the in-between those 2 points, managing the trade, is where you achieve the main objective, which is, first of all, preserving your capital so you'll last, and then secondly, we try to keep our profits more than our losses. Now, one thing we have to remember is that even the best professional traders, the best in the world, do not have a win rate of trades of more than 55 to 60%. I'm sure you've seen documentaries about the blackjack players in Las Vegas that try to do card counting and beat the system. Well, their goal is not to make a few big killing hands, but to make over a long period of time and a great number of hands at the blackjack table to have a consistency that's well over 50%, but it's not anywhere near 100%. In fact, they don't win but about 52 to 53% of the hands if they're the best in their field. So what we have to do is take that average over time and be realistic about a trading system. It's not going to be perfect. That doesn't exist anywhere. If it did, we could just phone it in and spend time on the yacht. So today we're going to talk about some ways to use the MACD indicator as a vital part of our setup so that we can consistently carve out parts of these dollar changes we've been watching on the screen. Okay, now moving on. Next setup here, the standard setup, same as before, NASDAQ 100 Micro, $2 a point candlesticks in the MACD. We're trading 9:30 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon, and this day is not nearly so volatile as the previous chart we were watching. Now, in case you're new to the channel, the buy signals, I want to bring your attention to the zero line down on the MACD. The buy signal is simple. A buy signal is when the green line is over the red line and both of those lines are over that MACD zero line that you see indicated there on the bottom. So we get a buy at 88.80, and I can tell you already this is not going to be a very good trade because almost immediately the red and green lines, who were diverging when we bought the trade start to converge. You can see they eventually do over around 10:30 in the morning. Now, there's several ways I know this. I can look at it, and the green and red lines are getting closer together, which means we're losing that upward momentum. Also, the vertical green lines are getting shorter because they do represent the distance between the green and the red lines there. So we'll get a sell signal on this trade before it's hardly out of the gate, and the profit, if we make anything, is going to be minimal. Looks like maybe 10 points at the most on there. Give myself the benefit of the doubt. But look what does happen about not losing money. The MACD has given us an indicator that we're losing momentum and a signal to exit the trade. And if we'd waited till around 10:50 and held that trade, we would have lost $50 on it instead of just breaking even or perhaps making $10 or $20. Now think about this in terms of had you used a stop loss order and depended on that. If you had a stop loss in of $50, you would have lost $50. If you had a stop loss of $20, you would have lost $20. If you look at the chart there, that's what you'll find. But because we were able to use the MACD and we could get a good indicator, fairly reliable indicator, that we were losing momentum. I mean, after all, we've been in the trade 20, 25 minutes and we're only up $5 or $10. That would indicate there that the momentum is getting flat, and it was on the increase the moment we put the trade on. But things can change in just a few minutes, and that's how it works. Every time you trade, you take a risk, and when you put yourself at risk, the first rule is to preserve your capital. So learn how to use this MACD, and the only way you're going to do that is either dive in the deep end or you can use, which I recommend, practice trading. Now, getting out of this trade with a small loss or no loss at all, or even if it had been a $10 loss, I would still consider this trade to be a success because we are successful in not letting it eat into our capital and losing $50 or even $20. Now, I'm not saying you should never use stop orders. Stop orders are a very good thing, and we'll talk about those in another video with trailing stops and the stop market and the stop limit orders. I'll do a video on those orders so we can look at some of the intricacies of those too. But when you're in high volatility days, such as we were and are still as of today in this COVID-19 scare, and the market goes up and down really fast, if you're a beginner, I would say you're crazy if you don't use a stop order. I mean, because you can vary $70 or $100 in 3 to 5 minutes. You can make a sandwich and come back and lose some money. So use a stop order when you see a lot of volatility in the market. Hope you've been able to pick up a few pointers today. By the way, it really helps a lot. If you want more videos like this one, hit the like button below. When you hit the like, that's the way you tell me, yeah, I'd like to see more videos like this one. Check out my book, too. Bit of Tales are on Amazon at the link below for the book. And I hope you'll subscribe to the channel so that you won't miss our videos that we put up every week and sometimes more often here. That'd be a great idea, and I sure would appreciate it. So what about those stop loss orders? I want to talk about them some more, and I want to give you the best piece of trading advice in over 30 years that I ever received from a mentor of mine. Before I start that story, I'm going to put some links and things in the other half of the screen here, and if you could take a look at those as I tell you the story, that'd be great. So I go to my mentor, Phil, one day, and I say, Phil, I'm making 20, 30 trades a week, and I'm not losing a lot of money, but I'm sure not making any, and I'm working as hard as I can work and doing it the best I can. I said, sometimes I feel like if I only made 2 or 3 trades a week, I'd be a heck of a lot better off. And Phil, my mentor, genius friend, said, well, then why don't you do that? And that was the greatest piece of advice I've ever received. Getting ready to trade, reading the morning news, queuing yourself up at 9:30 or in the evening if you're trading Globex, and doing all your studying, getting your software and getting your account and all the reading and studying you've done, and then you go and the market opens at 9:30 in the morning or whenever and sometimes the best trade of all is no trade at all. And that's the sign of a mature trader, when you learn to recognize those times and you learn to rely on your experience and intuition and also your skill, like we used in this video today, of getting use and practicing with that MACD momentum indicators before you dive into the deep end. Make sure you do a lot of practice trading, because that's the only way you're going to get that in your head. But that's the best piece of advice I ever got. And it's like you get prepared to trade and do all these things and open the account, and then it's like getting all dressed up and you got nowhere to go. And it's just kind of counterintuitive not to go in there and make a trade since you've done all this preparation. So give that some thought would be my advice. And whether you take it or not, of course, that's up to you. Listen, I've had a great time today, and we covered some really good subjects here and looked at some things, and hope to see you next time. Be sure and subscribe to the channel. Check out the link for my book below, and also those 2 playlists I recommended if you're an absolute beginner. They're called the Beginners and the MACD Winners. Those links are in the text below the video. I'm Don Singletary. I hope every day is a payday for you, and thank you.